Welcome, Robert, and thank you very much for your time today. Just wanted to ask you a few questions about, obviously it's been a very momentous time for the Steadfast Group and for the industry, and we thought we would get this opportunity to talk to you and just get a bit of a sense of some of the history behind it and some of the blood, sweat and the tears that went into to making it happen and making it successful, and some of the challenges and opportunities perhaps that you see out of the recent successful float. By any stretch, you'd have to consider the float a success. And I guess, what was your initial reaction?
I think that my initial reaction was absolute numbness, because such a lot of money and effort was put into it, and the support of all of our shareholders in the old company, and so many people backed what we said. And when we walked into the ASX and saw that the bidding for our shares was exceeding what people had subscribed to, it was a bit numbing.
But were you happy? Were you relieved, or?
I guess happiness is probably the wrong term for it. It was a relief that the proposition that we'd spoken to them all for many years about, and that they'd voted 96%, 93% to do, that on day one they had all had a successful float, and that they had all achieved a substantial amount of money for the years of investment they'd put into Steadfast by way of effort and supporting our strategic partners and being intricate to the decisions that we'd made. So I guess by the Sunday afternoon I'd had nearly 200 texts or emails from people saying thank you. And that was very humbling from my point of view, that so many people around the group had actually taken the trouble to write directly to me or leave me voicemails or texts or emails. So,
and it was one of the biggest IPOs of the year.
Yeah, look, we didn't set out to be the biggest distribution of general insurance in Australia, and we didn't set out to be a top end. When we first looked at the feasibility of doing this, we thought if we could get a $200 million market cap, that we would be terrific from that point of view. And when your first day you pass 730 million market cap and trade over a PE of 20 times, it becomes almost daunting to you to understand that the market thinks that way of you. So we've been very, very happy with the way the market responded.
And what about the brokers who aren't part of the Steadfast Group? You had any knocking on the door saying, I want to be part of it?
Look, we were embargoed from doing anything. I mean, we had to put a line in the sand virtually in the beginning of May and say we can't deal with any of our brokers or any external brokers. We had a bit of a wish list of people who had said we'd like to re-engage, and we've re-engaged with some people in recent times, and we will look to carefully analyse whether what we do fits with their business model and is good for them, and conversely endeavour to do deals with them if we can.
And what about the press? How do you reckon you were handled in the press? Was it fair? Was it accurate?
I think leading up to the to our EGM, people suffered a little bit with lack of knowledge about what we were doing, and so we were not able to talk to them because there's virtually an embargo for 6 months leading up to the float, and we stuck to that embargo. We didn't talk to anybody, and I think you may have borne the brunt of that on a couple of occasions, so my apologies for that. I was in other people's hands, not my own. And so some of the reporting up to the float was a bit inaccurate. Okay? And unfortunately, sometimes that inaccuracy gets carried through into databases, and so we've rectified a little bit of that. I think post-float, I think we've been treated very fairly by the press. I think they've reported rather correctly. I think we have a good relationship with them. We have a frank and open relationship with them. We'll maintain that. Part of our disclosure will always be that we will inform the market and inform anybody who wants to know about which way we're going. So we're now coming under scrutiny by some of the investment analysts, and some of them have been really good to us and others have been impartial, and I guess that's the way it runs from this point of view.
And just in terms of the people who bought in, apart from obviously your members, can you just give the viewers some sort of insight into who else bought into the group?
Look, we in what's commonly referred to as the book build, we had 96 institutions bid for our business. I must say they were the upper echelon of institutions, and about 40 institutions control about 52% of our stock, and most of those are long-term investors who want to get in at the ground floor. They want a defensive stock that they can rely upon. They want a stock that pays a nicely franked dividend and that's in a market sector that's not subject to the vagaries of too much. We've maintained the Steadfast net worth brokers, and the management team own 37% of the stock.
Yep.
So there's 63% fluid.
Skin in the game.
Skin in the game. All the management team has skin in the game. Everything that we've got is on full recourse, so if it doesn't go, we suffer as well. So we'll be doing our endeavours to go forward with it, and we're very happy with the corporate investors that have come aboard with us.
Good. And what about the future? What's the future look like for the Steadfast Group?
Well, I think that the model that we've developed has been successful. We've never played outside distribution. Underwriting agencies we've been involved with for over a dozen years. We have our joint venture in premium funding, and we'll continue to build on that aspect of what we do. So we're interested in insurance brokers, underwriting agencies, and if there's an ancillary business that's accretive to the way we do business, we'd look at that as well.
All right. Good. Well, thank you, Robert. We do appreciate your time. I know you're a very busy man, but I think it's been very insightful. And I think hopefully our viewers have got a far better understanding of what happened and what the future looks like for the Steadfast Group. So thanks for your time today.
Thanks, and thanks very much for the support of your company and your personal support as well of all your team. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Robert.